Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could be one of the most intriguing, game-changing stories of this NFL offseason. We've seen plenty of rumors, some speculation, but lately, there's been a lot of smoke around one of Washington's brightest stars, wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Yeah, the guy who's been the heartbeat of Washington's passing game for the past few seasons. And no, this isn't just another rumor. There's real tension and real questions about his future in the nation's capital. Let's back up a little and set the stage. McLaurin, since entering the league in 2019, has become one of the most beloved players in Washington. His route running, his hands, his work ethic, everything about him screams elite. And I mean, this past season, he absolutely shined. It was his best year yet, setting career highs in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. More importantly, his impact on the field was undeniable, helping lead Washington to one of their most successful seasons in over 3 decades. A team that was competitive, exciting, and on the cusp of something special. You see, McLaurin's connection with rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels has been electric. His ability to stretch the field, make contested catches, and be that reliable target in crunch time has made him a cornerstone of Washington's offense. Fans loved seeing him grow into that role, and honestly, it looked like the Commanders finally had a true franchise receiver to build around. But here's the thing, contracts in the NFL are always a delicate dance, especially for a team like Washington, which has to juggle cap space, roster needs, and future planning. Despite the mutual desire to keep him, the two sides haven't come close to an agreement on a new deal. And that's where things get complicated. The reports suggest that McLaurin is seeking a top-of-the-market contract, which could be in the range of those given to other elite receivers in the league. Think about guys like Tyreek Hill or Davante Adams. And for the Commanders, that's a tricky proposition. They might want to keep him, but the financial implications are significant. Especially considering that Washington has other pressing needs, like bolstering their pass rush, which has been a major concern lately. Over the past few months, whispers have grown louder about a potential trade, and that's not just idle speculation anymore. The value of McLaurin has never been higher, and if the Commanders decide to move on, they could potentially free up a ton of cap space. That flexibility could be used to strengthen other areas of the team, particularly on defense. And let's be honest, the pass rush has been a sore spot. Losing Dante Fowler Jr. last season, who managed double-digit sacks, was a blow. The team needs to find impactful pass rushers to complement what they already have and to boost their overall defensive prowess. But what if I told you that one of the most talked-about trade scenarios involves not just acquiring a new receiver or a defensive end, but a blockbuster swap that could reshape the entire NFC landscape? That's right. Recently, Fox Sports' David Hellman floated the idea of Washington trading Terry McLaurin to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for their star pass rusher, TJ Watt. Now, that's a name that instantly gets your attention, isn't it? TJ Watt, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in 2021, a game-wrecker off the edge, and a player who's been the backbone of Pittsburgh's defense. Why would Washington consider such a move? Well, Hellman argues that acquiring Watt could be the kind of move that transforms the Commanders' defense into a genuine juggernaut, on par with their impressive offense from last season. You see, Washington already has a solid core on defense, but Watt would bring that elite edge presence they've been missing. With Watt rushing the quarterback, the entire defense benefits. More sacks, more pressures, more turnovers. That's a game changer. And from a financial perspective, Hellman points out that while Watt's contract would be hefty, it's not insurmountable, especially given the timing. Watt's deal would likely span 3 years, giving Washington a window to maximize his impact before having to worry about extension talks. This could coincide well with the rookie contracts of other key players, like Jayden Daniels, whose development is crucial for the team's future success. So if Washington can pull this off, They'd be adding a cornerstone defensive player while possibly giving up a wide receiver who's been integral but also expensive. Now, for the Steelers, losing Watt would be a blow, no doubt. But if the trade is on the table, it could be driven by dissatisfaction with Watt's contract negotiations or a desire to shake things up. Pittsburgh's defense has been solid, but they've had their struggles, especially on the pass rush. Bringing in a top-tier receiver like McLaurin could help their offense, pairing him with their existing weapons and giving quarterback Kenny Pickett a real threat on the outside. It would be a fascinating shakeup for both teams and the kind of trade that would ripple across the league. But let's not forget, these are complex deals. Both teams would have to give up significant assets, and each franchise has to weigh whether giving up a foundational player is worth the potential upgrade. Washington's front office would have to decide if giving up McLaurin, a player who's been a face of the franchise, is worth the immediate defensive upgrade they'd get in Watt. Conversely, Pittsburgh would have to accept losing one of their key players in Watt and find a replacement, which isn't easy. And it's also worth mentioning that neither team has shown a clear intention of moving on from these players just yet. Watt, for instance, has been a pillar of the Steelers' defense for years, an Iron Man who's been durable and consistent. But as the offseason progresses, and with contract negotiations dragging on, frustration can grow. Sometimes, that frustration leads to bold moves like trades. In the grand scheme of things, this potential trade highlights how unpredictable and exciting NFL offseason moves are. Reminder that nothing is set in stone, and teams are always looking for ways to maximize their chances of winning. For Washington, it's about balancing the present with the future, adding elite talent to finally push them over the top. For Pittsburgh, it's about maintaining their competitiveness while addressing financial and roster concerns. And let's not forget the broader context. The NFC East is getting more competitive every year, with teams like the Eagles and Cowboys strengthening their rosters. Washington wants to stay ahead, and making bold moves like these could be the key. Plus, with the NFC as a whole looking more balanced and unpredictable, every decision matters more than ever. These kinds of trades, if they happen, could define the next few seasons. Now, reflecting on the current roster, Washington has made some interesting additions this offseason. They brought in Deebo Samuel, a versatile receiver who can play multiple roles and bring a fresh dynamic to the offense. While he's not quite the same level as McLaurin in terms of pure production, he's a player with less baggage and more flexibility in the offense. The team's rookie class also looks promising, with young players eager to prove themselves and fill the gaps. Still, the absence of a true, top-tier receiver like McLaurin would be felt, but the idea behind such a trade is that the overall team could improve significantly by strengthening other areas. And on the defensive side, Washington has been actively trying to rebuild their pass rush. The addition of a star like Watt would be a statement move, signaling that they're serious about contending. Plus, with Dan Quinn at the helm of the defense, having a player of Watt's caliber would elevate the entire unit. It's about creating that perfect balance, offense and defense working in tandem to make the Commanders a true force in the NFC. Of course, this kind of move isn't without risks. Trading a star receiver for a defensive player is a bold gamble. It's about expectations, team chemistry, and how well the new pieces fit into the puzzle. But sometimes, you have to make those bold decisions to push your franchise to the next level. And if Washington is serious about competing for a Super Bowl in the near future, making a statement like this could be exactly what they need. So as fans, it's crucial to stay tuned and keep an eye on how these rumors develop. The NFL offseason is a wild ride, filled with surprises, trades, and strategic moves. Washington's management has a lot to consider, and it's clear they're not afraid to shake things up if it means putting the team in the best position to succeed. Whether or not this specific trade materializes, one thing is for sure, the next few months will be critical for the Commanders' quest for greatness. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you believe trading McLaurin for Watt would be the right move? Or do you think the team should hold on to their star receiver and find other ways to fix their defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us and to the future of this team. I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more deep dives into what's happening around our beloved Commanders. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep supporting this incredible franchise. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's go Washington!